Hey you guys, this is Jason with Banna Properties, and today I want to answer the question, how big is an acre in Texas? Now, I'm sure you've heard the saying, everything is bigger in Texas, right? Literally everything. If you've ever been to a gas station, a Buc-ee's in Texas, you know that everything is bigger. I mean, those things are the size of a Walmart. They're huge. But the real question is, what's the size of an acre? Okay, so before I can answer this question, we need to talk a little bit about the history of an acre, because an acre is kind of an odd term. We don't use it in anything else. Very few other countries in the world actually use acres except for the US or the British system. So what was an acre originally? Where did it come from? In the Middle Ages, at least this is what math historians say, the story is that in the Middle Ages, an acre was a field. It was simply a measure in a field for the amount of land that could be plowed by a pair of oxen in one day. So that was the amount that could be plowed manually. Remember, no machinery, so they were moving quite slow, plowing the earth, and roughly in a day they would call it an acre. Now, there's a few problems with this measurement, obviously. Some oxen that were younger could probably plow more than oxen that were older, and larger oxen maybe could plow more than smaller oxen, and several other things. So they decided over time to not just use the acre estimation, but to actually create a measurement which they would use in surveys for the next 1,000 years. And that is the measurement that we have in the English system of an acre. And the actual square footage is 43,560 square feet. Okay, so a square foot, 43,560 times over is an acre. All right, so let's give you a visual comparison. So I want to go through a couple different things to kind of figure out what an acre would look like. Now, by this point, maybe you're disappointed because you realize an acre in Texas is going to be the same size as an acre in any other state. But let's just take a minute to compare these. So an acre versus a tennis court. I myself like to play a little tennis on occasion. I don't know if you're a tennis fan or not, but when you see the tennis court at your local park, remember that there are approximately 16 tennis courts within 1 acre of land, right? So it's a pretty good size piece of property if you consider it in that way. 16 different tennis courts. You can see it here in the image. Now let's keep going. What's an acre look like compared to a basketball court? You say a tennis court's kind of fairly small. What about a basketball court? Maybe you like to play a little ball, right? If we look at an acre versus basketball courts, then 9.3 basketball courts, this is the official sized basketball court, would be able to fit within 1 acre. Okay, so all 9.5 roughly basketball courts in 1 acre. Okay, so we're getting an idea of the size of an acre now. Now let's say, what about a football field? All right, maybe you like the old pigskin. In a football field, and actually a football field is slightly larger than an acre, so it depends on how we measure the football field. If we don't include the end zones, then it's about 90% of the football field is what the acre, 1 acre would cover, right? So that's a pretty good sized piece of property. Try to run across the football field, see how you feel when you get to the other side if you're not in very good shape, and you'll know it's a pretty decent sized piece of property. All right, now let's think about parking spaces. Maybe you've driven through the parking lot on a busy day when the store's full looking for a space, and it seems like acres and acres of parking spots, right? What would 1 acre look like in parking spaces? There would be approximately 156 parking spaces fit in 1 acre. Now that is including if the layout was just perfectly rectangular like you can see here, right? And that would also include the driveway lots, so that you would actually have driveways through that. So this is an actual parking lot with this exact layout here. Most of them don't look exactly like that, but still 156 parking spaces, still with room to drive through and to park. So it's a pretty good size chunk. And then finally, what does an acre look like versus your home? Usually people talk about the size of their lot. Maybe they say I have a 1/4 acre lot or a 1/2 acre lot, or I have an acre. You think, wow, that's a big yard. What does that look like compared to your home? Now, I'm not sure the size of your particular home, or if you live in maybe an apartment, or if you live in a McMansion, I don't know. But the average home in the US is 2,400 square feet. Now, this picture here is actually a picture, yes, I Googled, of what an average home in any state in the US looks like that's currently for sale. So apparently this is the model of home that's quite average. All right, and if we took this 2,400 square foot home and we put it in an acre, how many times would it fit? We could actually fit 18 2,400 square foot homes in an acre, and we'd even have a tiny bit of room to spare over here in the corner. So think about that when you're in your house. Think 1 acre is 18 times bigger than the footprint of my house. All right, so it's pretty good size. Now, remember, an acre in Texas, yes, unfortunately, even though everything is bigger in Texas, unfortunately, an acre is not. It's going to be the same size as it is anywhere else in the US. This is the English system of measure that we use to survey property. All right, now if you own some acres and you have some land, and maybe you say, you know what, I have some acres, but I don't need them anymore. I'd like to sell them. If you're looking for a quick sale and a cash offer for your land, I'd encourage you to fill out the form below, and we'll give you a cash offer for your acres within 24 hours. All right, thank you. Have a great day.